Be in the ball field restroom. Let them know they need a refill. We good? Good. All right. I'll call the Board of Aldermen work session to order. We only have one item on the agenda tonight. It's the review of the FY 2023 budget. Alderman Hartman is attending another event, so he will not be here tonight for either meeting. He is excused. So we'll roll into the budget review.
And Gina Pate, acting finance director, will provide a year-end review of fiscal year 2023 budget.
It's a nice Christmas ornament.
It is.
Nice tree.
It is, isn't it?
Nice tree. Me.
So we'll start off with the general fund recap. As you can see, the general fund had a really good performance in FY23. We came over budget in revenues by about 1.9 million. Our expenditures came under what we had originally budgeted by 156,000. And the cash balance was 1.4, and we originally budgeted, or that was the difference. The actual was 3.9, and we originally budgeted 2.7. So that came in really well. For the general fund, where we get our revenue is from our property tax, our 1% city sales tax, city use tax, which is our online expenditures, and then we also have interest earnings that come onto this good performance for FY23. Exceeding the original expenditure budget, we did have the mark administrative fee for our grant reimbursement for our future projects. That's the Riverwalk.
For Riverwalk, the Second Creek sidewalks, and our Bridge Street roundabout. And then we also had an additional 25,000 added to the budget for the 23 street maintenance program. And as you can see, our fund balance analysis, we have been performing very well with the cash we have on hand and with our fund balance reserve policy. In 22, we did reduce it from 40% to 25%. So you can see we have been using those funds to do projects that are needed for the city. And for property tax in the staff report, you'll see a more detailed graph that has a breakdown of residential, commercial, and agriculture differences. And you can see that from 22, we've seen an increase in the amount received from property taxes. The blue is the original budgeted amount, and then this is what we received in gray. And this was about a 10.86 increase in revenue above 22. So that came in very well. For our 1% city sales tax, we saw a 8.33% increase from 22. So we have seen over the years a steady increase. So that's good, and we expect to see that in coming years. And then our use tax, again, this is 1% as well. We saw a 15% increase from 22 as consumers are spending more online. We expect this to come in, and you can see our budgeted amount in blue. We had $69,500, and it came in as $827,000. So that is very good performance on our use tax, and we're excited to see that coming forward in future years. And additionally, we have interest earnings. So our interest rate climbed significantly at the end of 22. So that is why you can see in gray, we had a very high revenue. We had $578,000 in revenue. We originally budgeted $63,000. So that was a good revenue that we weren't originally anticipating when we did our budget. And then building permits, just with how the market has been lately, we did see a slowing down in permitting for 23. We expect in 24 for this to come back. So we'll continue to monitor that throughout the year. And then for our 24 budget for the general fund, based on the performance of 23, we are expecting to exceed what we budgeted. We budgeted at a beginning cash balance of 3.53 million, and then we're expecting about 3.949 million for our beginning cash balance, and then ending, we expect to have 3.1 million. And then for our 5-year cash flow, so this is based on our forecast that we do. The orange line is our operating budget. This green is our required reserve of 25% operating costs. And then this is our ending fund balance. As you can see, we currently have enough in our fund balance, but with the amount of projects that we have in ongoing years and the costs that we expect for increases over time, you can see that going down, and we continue to monitor that year over year. Any questions on the general fund? All right. Next, we will move on to our combined wastewater and water fund. This is our utility fund, which is completely separate from our general fund. So for fund performance, you'll see that there is a negative amount. And the reason for that is we originally included 3.9 million in COP debt issuance to fund the 144th lift station in Forest Main, and then also the Stonebridge lift station, which would be adding a lot of capacity in that area. And we have pushed that to FY24. So that is why those, revenues were under by about 3.23 million. And then overall in the performance, our water and wastewater sales, our actual revenues exceeded the budget that we were originally anticipating. Again, with the COP issuance, we didn't receive that fund, so that has been pushed for the revenue. And then included in the project pushback, 144th Street West Bypass and the lift station. Additionally, the water plant improvements, we have moved that to FY24, so you can anticipate those projects coming up this year. And the adopted budget, the reason for this difference, we got an invoice very close to November 1, so that is why the difference between the adopted and the FY24 projected is about 106,000. And then that's why that difference is right there. You will see we are starting the year with a beginning cash balance of 6.45 million. And we can expect at the end to only have 1.32 million. We have a significant amount of projects in our capital improvement plan for water and wastewater. So you will see a lot of good improvement projects coming this year. And then the 5-year cash flow. This again is the forecast. We have the operating budget in orange, the ending fund balance in yellow, and then our required reserve in this fund is 20% of the operating budget. We have been saving cash to pay for those important projects coming up, but you will be seeing that these will be being spent down by year 27 based on our CIP. And we'll continue to monitor that fund as well throughout the year. Any questions on the utility fund? Yes.
Maybe. Gina, just a question here, a couple questions here on the wastewater fund. It shows that we adopted and the 2024 that what we adopted, is it those numbers include the 15% increase?
Yes.
Okay. And the other thing is the graph on the previous page. It's got a big, it's got a big bump and then a dip into the reserve. What can we do to even that out so that graph is more in line? Do we need to move some projects out So we don't have such a big bump up and then something, we need kind of a flat graph. What can we do to, I'm not sure what we need to do to look at that in the future, right? What we need to do to try to smooth that bump out.
And that's one of the things as we look at budget planning. This includes all the projections of the projects. As we've noted, we do budget for projects and they do take some time. So that may flatten some because we may not spend some of those. But we want to be careful because we need to do the projects to support the infrastructure. So we have to continue to review that, the timing, the costs, and continue to review the rate structure as well. And that's one of the things that we've talked about for the last couple of years. The issuance of COPs there, the repayment of that debt, the best way to be able to maximize those projects, reduce the cost of expenditures. But we have been talking for at least, well, actually 3 years now, because when we hired Stephen, I said, one of the things we got to be looking at is our utility fund. We were making projections that at about this time we would be falling there. So we see those, we've had better performance. So hopefully we have conservative estimates on the revenue side. And we want to continue to monitor. We just have to continue monitoring that. And that is why we do these projections. So we see this information in advance to be able to course correct in advance.
Thank you, Cynthia. Thank
Some
you.
of the projects are going to happen though. We have aging infrastructure, and I'm in the regular session. Interesting timing,
said
Bob.
right on time,
That is
Bob.
perfect timing, Bob.
We got,
What is
Chuck,
That could not have been
Yeah.
scripted better.
What an entrance.
and
In
in 2026 is when we do the water plant expansion, right?
Yeah.
That's why we have to save up cash.
correct.
Right.
That's
So,
and we have had a lot of conversation and discussion about taste and odor issues. Bob's going to talk about that during my city administrator's report, but that has a direct impact on our projects have a direct impact on that too.
Do these numbers include the projected or the planned 15% increase next year and the following year as well?
Those projections at those projected amounts are included as part for the revenues. Yes.
Not just 2024, but also the projected.
Yes.
Okay, so they include
Yes.
all the. Okay.
Those projections include those rate study models.
Okay, thank you.
if we don't save up that cash, we also run out of debt capacity and probably can't do the project, right? Can't just build half a tank at once. Quarter of it. Can do a
Thank
quarter
you.
check.
Any other questions on that fund?
We said water and Bob showed up, so.
Yeah,
Yes.
you heard the call. All right, our next fund is our special sales tax funds. So we'll review those. The first one is our transportation sales tax fund. We had a beginning cash balance of $354,000. And then our ending cash balance was $563,000. So we saw that perform well. And some of the projects that are funded through that is like 4th Street and 4th Terrace. So that is what those funds go to. And then for FY24 adopted, we are starting with $537,000, and then ending cash balance, we are spending this down. That's why a lot of these projects have been pushed to FY24. So you can see we're projecting only $33,000 at the end of 24. So we are spending down this fund quite a bit. And then in the capital improvement tax fund, you can see this amount of $431,000 because we did not receive the grant funding from Mark because we pushed Streetscape Phase 3 to 24. So that project will be completed in FY24, which is why the revenues did not come in at the original budgeted amount. And included in this for the next year, you can see we will be spending down this fund as well. We'll be starting with about $668,000 and then spend it down to around $2,000. So we are using this fund quite a bit this next year. And this fund also goes to improve to pay for the debt service from the voter-approved issuance in 2018 for the projects. This is continuing to go to that debt service. And then for the next fund, we have our Parks and Stormwater Sales Tax Fund. For FY23, we started the cash balance with $749,000. The actual, we had 1.435 million. So this came in very well. Again, some of the projects have been pushed back. We haven't completed Quincy yet. So we continue to have invoices from those projects. For FY24, our beginning cash balance for the adopted budget was 983. But you can see for our projection, this has increased to 1.435 million. The ending cash balance, we can see as we're projecting 1.348 million. And again, these are going to earmark. Some of these funds are earmarking for that big Smiths Fork project. So that's why you will see a larger ending cash balance in this fund. And then again, we have our other fund, our vehicle and equipment replacement fund. So we'll go over that. Any questions on any of the special sales tax funds? Okay. As you can see, we've gotten some nice equipment, our truck with our salt spreader on the back. We got a new skid steer and a new mower. So I know everyone's excited to get new equipment this year. So for our vehicle and equipment replacement fund, you can see in the red about $131,000 that we didn't ended up spending just because we did not receive all of the vehicles. We've received about 75% of the police vehicles now. And again, this is an ongoing fund that we're monitoring. It is pretty volatile based on the market. We started with a cash balance of 157 and then we ended with 163. So again, we hadn't received all of our vehicles and we have ongoing meetings with Enterprise. So we'll continue to monitor this program in future years. For adopted budget, we adopted 210,000 for the beginning cash balance. We are projecting 163 just with how vehicles are coming in. That's what we are expecting. And then the end cash balance, we're spending down this fund to about 114,000 just because, again, we don't know what this is going to look like. And we are continuing to monitor this. And the future finance director, that's one of the big projects they will be working on is monitoring this fund. Any questions on the VERF?
So, yeah, Gina, I have a question. Thank you. Just a question. So help me out here. When we get new vehicles, that goes down, or when we sell new vehicles, the current vehicles, right? Is that what, so we're trying to sell the current vehicles we have? Is that what the issue is?
We look to them to assist us in the selling of those vehicles.
Okay.
But we haven't got the new ones yet to be able to sell the older ones.
Okay.
Right.
So that's what we're,
Right.
okay. And then that'll turn that around. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
So the payments when we receive the vehicles, and then we have that money added once we have the payoff.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
And I think we've seen, I don't know if you've had a chance to see the new police cars. I think a few of us have, but they're definitely on the streets and they're bright.
Yes.
They're out during the parade.
All right. Any other questions on that? All right. And sorry for this slide not being finished, but general fund, our revenue performance was very strong, as you saw throughout the graphs. Our combined water and wastewater fund performed well. We have a lot of projects planned, significant projects planned for FY24. So we continue to monitor this fund in our long-range planning. So we'll continue to monitor that forecast as we have projects lined up. Our special sales tax funds, they've continued to provide adequate funding for the improvements necessary in our transportation capital improvement plan. parks and storm projects that are identified in our CIP. Our vehicle and equipment replacement fund, again, we're waiting on vehicles. So we will continue to monitor this to see how it performs once we have a full fleet. Any questions? That is the end of my slide deck.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Well, at least we got half our police cars this year instead of none, so I'll take 50% over 0%. Are they starting to bump up production or? That's good. Awesome. Any other questions or comments? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the work session. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor of adjourning the work session, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Stand adjourned for about 9 minutes. Thank you.